Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam
Waalaikumsalam.
Testing. Bismillah. A'udzubillahi minasyaitonirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man tabi'ahum bi ihsanin ila yaumiddin. Amma ba'd. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh, and a very good morning. Dear presenters, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 4th International Conference on Current Trends in the Middle East, ICCTME 2021. My name is Aizat and I am from KUIS, Coalition Universiti Islam Antarabangsa Selangor, and I will be your moderator for the first parallel session today. The theme for this session is about foreign policy, and today we have three respected presenters, inshallah, who will share their thoughts and insights regarding the matter. But first and foremost, allow me to remind all presenters that everyone is given 10 minutes for their presentation, and then I will open the room for discussion at the end of this session. After all three presenters had presented their paper, then we will be having a Q&A session. So without further ado, let me introduce the first presenter, Yang Berbahagia Dr. Nurhanisah Ismail, with her paper entitled When COVID-19 Globally Impacts, Qatar Charts Humanitarian Costs. So Dr. Nurhanisah, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator, Mr. Aizat, for facilitating the presentation today. And then we have Dr. Hasrul, as well as other presenters and other participants maybe in these sessions on the foreign policy. Thank you again for the committees of ICCTME organizing such a very important conference. Gatherings, all the scholars, across the region to discuss about the topic. So my topic will, as mentioned by Mr. Aizat, is about the Qatar humanitarian responses since the event of the COVID-19. By the way, Mr. Aizat, is it my voice is clear?
Yes, Doctor.
All right, okay. Thank you, Mr. Zaf. Yeah, okay, right. Okay, thank you very much. So let me share. This is my first time using a StreamYard. So as like Dr. Hasrul, we used WebEx back in UUM, but it's good to try something new. Okay, and expand our horizons, in terms of experience and knowledge. Okay, let me share the screen with you. I can share my PowerPoint. Am I right?
Yes, okay. You can share the screen.
Yeah. Oh, that's okay. Want to share everything, yeah? Let me find it there. Right. I think you may not see my screen, Mr. Aizat, do you?
Not yet, Doctor.
Not yet, yeah?
Yeah.
Right. That's fine. Sharing, I couldn't display maybe. Oh, it will take long time. Or can I send to you my PowerPoint? Send to the no?
In the group?
Is it right? It says in the group, yeah?
Yes.
Boleh na? Okay, right.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll send to my, so you can play. Sorry for the technical things. Right. Mr. Aizat, yeah. Is it okay, Mr. Aizat? You get it?
Yes, Dr. I got it, but it takes time.
Yeah, right. Okay, right. Okay, that's fine.
Okay. Can you see, Dr., the PowerPoint?
The PowerPoint, not okay. It's coming. Right. Okay. Wonderful.
Okay. Okay.
Right. Okay, wonderful. So let's begin. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This paper I write with Al Hussein Nana, an independent researcher, and he has broad knowledge about the Middle East region. So the title of this paper is about when COVID-19 globally impacts Qatar charts humanitarian responses. In the abstract, I wrote about humanitarian costs, but I think it is better to write down humanitarian responses. Okay, Mr. Aizat. So the paper objective basically to analyze the motivations of Qatar's humanitarian foreign policy during the pandemic. And as a whole, I try to see Qatar foreign policy, humanitarian foreign policy in general. Then we try to understand what the motivations, what the driving factors behind this foreign policy. And then we try to understand about the modes of the policy implementation and the forms of humanitarian assistance. We would like to know what sort of the ways that Qatar used in order to execute humanitarian foreign policy. Yeah, next, Mr. Okay. So we talk about the motivations. At the beginning, we have seen motivations in three levels of analysis. As we have learned in international relations academic fields of study, scholars suggest about three levels of analysis in order to understand, to analyze the events in the foreign policy. So here I just come across with few motivations, and the motivations that I'm going to discuss here basically are more on the state level of analysis. And I will not discuss about the regional level of analysis as well as the international level of analysis because it's going to consume a lot of time. But in the paper, I discuss about the three levels of analysis. Okay, so the first motivation is about the humanitarian duty and the responsibility. Qatar has been calling that its humanitarian foreign policy is about the humanitarian duty. And some scholars say this is part of the religious duty as well. So what Qatar is doing is, its humanitarian foreign policy much more emphasized on the the need to help those civilian and vulnerable people, and Qatar sees as well, the need to provide protection to the defenseless people during the emergency. And then the Qatar also call solidarity and sympathy with those deprived people, and especially those lives have been threatened by security threat, has been affected by the security threat. And most importantly, what Qatar has been doing is to call for help to the vulnerable people. And the other point is about the humanitarian duty and responsibility. We could see that Qatar dedicates strong commitment on the humanitarian cause, and it takes constant effort to alleviate, to ease the impact of the humanitarian crisis. And while honoring the humanitarian duty and responsibility, Qatar faced challenges, especially its relation with some of the recipient countries. The relations with these recipient countries like Sudan, Yemen, and Syria are quite tensed and strained to some extent at some point, and sometimes it may reach to the zero level of relationship. It means almost absence of the official relationship between the two countries. So this is one of the challenges that Qatar goes through. But again, it has been able to pursue humanitarian cause that has been embedded in its foreign policy. And I give you those examples of the authorities, like in Yemen, yeah, the internationally recognized government. Last year, especially, since the the Qatar blockade, yeah. So the relation was not good, yeah. Just few days ago, Yemeni's delegation arrived in Doha to repair, to improve the relationship between the two parties, because they were in the other camps of the regional alliance. So this one of the authority in the recipient countries that had strained and tense relationship with Qatar. And Syrian regime is one of the examples, Bashar regime, and the other one is the Sudanese Transitional Sovereign Council. And Sudanese Transitional Sovereign Council a few weeks ago also visited Doha, as a result of the rapprochement, yeah. So they tried to improve and to repair the relationship. So let's look at in terms of Yemen. We know about the situation in Yemen. I just want to say here how the tense relationship between Qatar but later on we will see how Qatar continue to pursue its humanitarian foreign policy. So we are aware about the Yemeni people. Qatar is very sympathetic, and in fact on the side of the Yemeni people, they are the war victims, and we know 3.3 million of the Yemenis are displaced, and tens of thousands died, yeah, in the wars. And Qatar stands on Yemen. Basically, it calls unity among those fractions in Yemen, as well as to restore territorial integrity. Qatar's position on Yemen is driven by few key aspects, like believing in the rule of law, emphasizing on the international law and the human dignity, and always support the regional efforts, international effort to find the solution to the war. And we know that Qatar has dedicated enormous contributions to Yemen, but there are parties in Yemen that try to manipulate Qatar engagement in Yemen. Yeah. And one example is the Yemeni Prime Minister that accused Qatar for supporting Houthis movement, but immediately the Qatari Foreign Minister responded to this claim and utterly denied the baseless claim, saying that this is not true, and what the Prime Minister of Yemen should do is actually make effort to unite the people and find ways to stop the war and make efforts to meet the needs of the people here. Okay, that. So then another countries that had here sour relationship with Qatar, Sudan, yeah, under the military council before the transitional council at the moment. I think I tried to skip, Isaac, because the time given is just 10 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Yes.
Yes, okay. So that's one of the reasons. The first reason is about the humanitarian duty and application, but Qatar has gone through challenges from the recipient government. Now we move to the second motivation, and that is about the deep pocket of Qatar. We are aware that Qatar is one of the richest country, one of the wealthiest country, and even the titan of oil and gas industry. So that particular statement, like the world's fifth largest gas producer, second largest gas exporter, and the largest LNG exporter, describe about the position of Qatar, describe about how wealthy Qatar is, generating the massive wealth from LNG export, LPG export, as well as the oil export. Yeah. So this is the advantageous point and impregnable position of Qatar, and because of this ability, Qatar has been able to stretch its foreign aid budget. However, Qatar foreign aid budget is susceptible or exposed to the volatility of oil and gas prices. So in the sense that when oil prices, for example, strike, and the foreign aid budget of Qatar will increase at the same time. So it happens the other way around. So perhaps there is a constant direction between the oil price and foreign aid budget. Okay. Okay, Isaac. Yeah. So there are other motivations, but I do not discuss here. I mentioned in the paper. And now we move to the other subtopic about the modes of humanitarian aid delivery. So we talk about those countries that have a hard relationship with Qatar. Now we focus only in this country. Actually, the paper assess about Qatar humanitarian aid in countries in the region, but it drew my attention to see how Qatar pursue its humanitarian foreign policy despite the challenges it faced with unwelcome attitude of the recipient countries. Yeah, so how it implement a humanitarian foreign policy in this country. So I focus on Yemen here, and then Sudan as well as Syria. So the first thing on the medical aid and food, yeah, during the COVID-19, and we observe about the dire situations, health services in Yemen is critical, and despite it has large population, when COVID-19 touched the ground, Yemenis started to see the increasing cases of COVID-19 as well as deaths. But at the same time, Yemenis struggle with the shortage of the medical supplies. Yemen itself struggle with the limited financial aid. So the health authorities in Yemen are struggling, let alone to provide the basic health services to the people when COVID-19 reached the country. So it was completely difficult for the health authority in Yemen to tackle this situation. Okay, is that? Yeah. Okay. So what has been done in Qatar what has been done by Qatar agency? So Qatar has its own agency to implement humanitarian foreign policy or to deliver, to disperse the humanitarian aid. Among those are Qatar Charity, Qatar Red Crescent Society, and then Qatar Fund for Development, and then it has other charitable organization and private institution as well. And at the same time, those embassies and Qatar foreign embassies also offering hand in delivering Qatar's humanitarian aid to the affected people. So we look at the Qatar charity that is familiar with the humanitarian work in Yemen. So it helps, Qatar charity helps the Yemeni health services in terms of providing medical devices that I mentioned, the oxygen cylinders, medical ventilators. And this is expected to help, to support 900,000 people, to face the COVID-19. And then another agency is Qatar Red Crescent Society. So how it works in Yemen by working with UNHCR. So the intention is to improve the health sector, and they have project known as the Refugee Healthcare Support Project. So what these two organizations have been doing, focus on the facilities of health services in Yemen. on the ICU, at the Jamhuri University Hospital in Sana'a. So providing medical beds and other medical equipment. So the cost is more than 100,000 US dollar. So that's one of the examples of humanitarian assistance provided by Qatar Red Crescent Society. Qatar Red Crescent Society is very active, and it has been working in multilateral approach. It means it works with other international agencies as well as other Red Crescent Society in other countries. Okay. Is it time? Mr. Aizat?
Let me check first, Doctor. I
Yeah.
think you are the
Yeah,
only presenter here, so the floor is all yours. You can take your time
Oh, okay.
presenting.
Oh, yeah. No other presenters,
Yeah,
Mr. Aizat?
tak ada.
Okay, right. That's fine. Tak apa. I'll try to explain what I
No,
have
not the
on the
presenter.
slide. No
Okay,
other
take your time,
presenters. Yeah,
Doctor.
that's fine. So, yeah, saya baik. Okay. So, okay. Now let me see about the humanitarian effort of Qatar in the Republic of Sudan. Okay, Qatar also helped the South Sudan, South Sudan, but it paid attention on the Republic of Sudan. In South Sudan, Qatar has just established a diplomatic relation, and with the Republic of Sudan and the North Sudan, the relationship has been long. Since, if I'm not mistaken, in 1950s. Okay, in Sudan, the situation of the health sector is difficult, and it has shortage in many sectors, shortage in terms of funds, in terms of the staff, in terms of the medical equipment, medical devices. So in fact, during the COVID-19, even today, the health services, health system in Sudan undergoes double pressure. One is because of the COVID-19, and the other one because of the flood. I think we are aware about the flood in Sudan recently, last year. So Qatar Red Crescent Society again played the role, and how it worked. It create cooperations with multi-based international NGOs. So it worked with other NGOs in other countries in in Turkey as well as in Sudan. So in fact, these three Red Crescents in different countries, they reached agreement in June 2020. And the intention of the agreement basically is to empower Sudan, help defend in confronting the spread of the coronavirus. So there was well preparations in Sudan, and sort of the well preparation in the context of effort made by these three Red Crescent. So once they concluded the agreement in September 2020, after 3 months, Qatar Red Crescent Society started to deliver the medical supply and equipment. Bear in mind that Qatar last year, had tense relationship with the council running Sudan. So what Qatar Red Crescent Society did basically, it just sponsored 12.5 ton of medical supplies and equipment, and for the delivery, the responsibility to deliver these supplies and equipment was in the hands of Turkey Red Crescent Society. So one side provide the capital, and the other side provide the services. I mean, Turkey Red Crescent Society took in charge on the delivery of this equipment. Yeah, right. Okay, and then followed by another shipment of medical aid, and it was 6 tons of the medication and medical equipment. And the other one is about the programs that Qatar Red Crescent Qatar Red Crescent has created on the ground by purchasing those emergency needs from the local supply. And the following months, after few months, in November 2020, there was Qatar Red Crescent Society delegations visited Sudan and observing the activities and the programs that each representative had put in place. Yeah, so we could see from these examples that there is strong humanitarian cooperation. There is a solid synergy of cooperation among the three Red Crescent Society, and the sort of like the delivery of the humanitarian aids is more or less very structural, very effective, and workable. Okay. And the other one is about Qatar Fund for Development that also assist the health system in Sudan and how it works. Yeah, Qatar Fund for Development is donated $1 million US dollar to the WHO, World Health Organization, one of the international agencies, and the purpose is to empower the health workers in Sudan so they could deal with the emergency situations in Sudan. So now we see another form of cooperations of Qatar agency with the international agencies working together to deliver aids to the vulnerable people in Sudan. In fact, Qatar Charity, that is another agency of Qatar, yeah, humanitarian aid, launched a campaign known as Safety for Sudan. And what the campaign is all about is to collect, to draw donations from the local people from Qatar, people in Qatar, and that donation is transmitted, is transferred, is given to the Sudanese people. And the campaign actually is a response to the flood and the landslide in Sudan that happened a few months ago. And if you look at last month in February 2021, and as a result of this campaign, 79 tons of medical solutions was delivered to the Sudanese Health Ministry. So what we can say, there is a strong spirit of brotherhood between the nations of the two countries, and we could figure out that in more years to come, more aid will come from Qatar, and we could consider that Qatar could dedicate a long-term commitment on assisting the improvement effort of Sudanese health system. And let's we move to Syria, and we are aware that Qatar authority, Qatar government has no link, no normalizations with Bashar regime. So how it works basically in Syria, especially to help those vulnerable people in the northern part of Syria. And when COVID-19 crossed many countries, yeah, so Qatar Red Crescent representative in Turkey started to deliver aid. And it happened that it was few weeks after the COVID-19 Muslims are fasting, yeah, the Ramadan time. So Qatar Red Crescent's main effort to ensure good food, enough food, there was supplementary food, there was the basic needs of the vulnerable people in the northern part of Syria could be met. So some examples that we could see here, that 220 tons of dates were distributed to 110,000 families, and in the northern part of Syria at the camps in Idlib and Aleppo governorates. Yeah, and in these camps these people are IDP, internal displaced people. While delivering this aid, the aid workers observe the precautionary measures, and they move from one camp to another to deliver the food, I mean the supplementary food. At the same time, the aid workers also distribute 36,000, nearly 35,000 food baskets, yeah, to the people in need in the northern part of Syria. So we could say how difficult the situation was, but the aid workers were determined to make balanced efforts to meet the basic needs of the people during this perilous environment, a very high risk environment. Okay, so that's the story of the Qatar Red Crescent in Syria, and through working through its representative in Turkey in delivering aids to the IDPs in camps in the northern part of Syria, I mean in Italy and Aleppo. The other one is about Qatar Fund for Development and Qatar Charity, two agencies of Qatar working together to ensure efficiency and effectiveness of the health system in northern part of Syria, I mean in this area, in these camps. And so what they did basically, they built 4 health center with a cost of about $2 million, and this is part of the initiative known as KUIS Health Initiative that worked for 2 years, still going on. And the reasons for this initiative basically to improve the health information system that could benefit the health directorates and humanitarian organization. And the initiative aimed to develop unified health system. And what Qatar, I mean, these agencies did basically, or these agencies are doing or have been doing, is actually to provide technological support by maintaining the server and database of the health system in the northern part of Syria. So it is expected to benefit 4 million locals and the displaced people. Okay, that's about the modes of humanitarian aid delivered by Qatar. I mean, medical supplies and food. Now we move to the other modes of humanitarian assistance, and that is the transportation service. And this is the last slide. So what we can see, Qatar Airways, including other airways, I guess, working on, I mean, transporting people who were stranded at the beginning of the COVID-19. So for Qatar Airways, 1 million people were transported to their homeland. For example, more than 1,500 Tunisians living in Qatar flew by Qatar Airways, went back to Tunisia. And then other Tunisians as well living in Asia and Africa and used Doha route as a transit to go home, I mean to go back to Tunisia. Even it has been gratitude thanks by the Tunisian authority to Doha, to Qatar Airways because of this effort. Why this thing happened basically, this explain about the close relationship between Tunisia and Qatar government. We could see how the president of Tunisia visited Qatar, and because Tunisia is developing its country and it needs investment as well as the fund from Qatar to support the development in the country. And it happened that Qatar is also willingness to offer help to the countries in the regions that intend, that plan to develop their countries. And let me say about the case of Iran. We know that Iran is under sanction, and so the health system is critical, and Qatar and Iran's having very close relationship and friendly relationship. So Qatar played the role of sending the medical aid and equipment to Iran, especially for Qatar Airways. And Qatar Airways made an announcement that it is ready to deliver medical aid to Iran, regardless where the contributors are, and the cost of transporting this medical aid and equipment to Iran will be waived. Yeah, so that's the reflect the cordial relationship, the outcome of the close relationship between Qatar and Iran. So it's very generosity and warm hospitality of the private entity in Qatar to address COVID-19 in countries that have good relations and not good relations with Qatar. And we could say that Qatar continue to support those countries. And when we see the case of Iran and Tunisia, one can argue that Qatar is offering favorable treatment to those countries, I mean Tunisia and Iran, that have close relationship with the state of Qatar. I think that's all my presentation. So just a big conclusion, brief conclusion is I just talk about the motivations of Qatar humanitarian foreign policy. And by looking at the state level of analysis, humanitarian duty and responsibility, as well as the tip pocket of Qatar and other motivations. I mean, state in the context of state level of analysis, it's about Qatar. I mean, internal or political stability that also support Qatar humanitarian work. And then the state survival, that's the reasons for Qatar to disperse humanitarian aid in order to get allies there, to draw a strategic alliance with countries in the region as well as across the globe. And then we move to the regional level of analysis. One could say about the issues of competition among the regional power, yeah, especially in some countries in the region like Somalia, how Qatar and Turkey, one bloc, and the other bloc, Saudi Arabia and the UAE, yeah, are competing in terms of providing investment, bringing investment into Somalia and offering aid, yeah, to Somalia. So that is about the regional states of analysis. And international state of analysis talking about Qatar image at the international level, and Qatar work with other international institutions to draw the confidence as well as the support of other countries on Qatar's position at the international level, like Qatar membership in the United Nations. Yeah, I mean, and Qatar works at the United Nations to get as much as support from other countries across the globe. And then that's the story of three countries, of stories on humanitarian aid of Qatar to Sudan, to Syria, and to Yemen. Most of these aid to help vulnerable people affected by different conditions of a security threat. With that, I end my presentation, Ms. Liza. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you to Dr. Nurhanisah for the presentation. From the presentation, I would say, or we would say that one of the hikmah of this pandemic COVID-19 is the need for the mankind to work on the relationship between each other, regardless of any of their political issues, internal or external, for the sake of the people itself. So I think that is one of the hikmah from this pandemic COVID-19. So now I would like to open for Q&A session. Let me check first if there is any. We have one comment here, I think. Okay, but the comment is There's nothing in the comment.
Right.
So I think that's all for this session. Let me try first because, okay. So I think that's all for today's discussion or this morning. But before that, I would like to thank again Dr. Nurhanisah, participants, ladies and gentlemen, for lending us your time upon this fruitful discussion. We are hoping that the knowledge and information from this session from Dr. Nurhanisah just now will some way and somehow benefit the people and in order to make the world a better place, inshallah. So my
InsyaAllah.
most sincere apologies for any kind of flaws, like what the Nurhanisah said just now. I'm also the first time user for this StreamYard, so there's a lot of technical issues. So I'm sorry for all the flaws and inconvenience. And by that, I will end my speech with wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Mr. Aizat. Thank you, ya.
Okay, Dr. Nurhanisah,
Ya, saya.
1 minute, angkat gambar.
Boleh, boleh.
Okay,
Right.
1, 2, and 3.
Mhm.
Okay,
Right.
once
Okay.
again, thank you. Okay, thank you very much.
Right. Thank you, now, Mr. Aizat. Ya, okay. Assalamualaikum.
Allah.
Ya, right.
UTM, University Technology Malaysia. Innovative, entrepreneurial, global. A global award-winning university in engineering and technology that coexists in the community to contribute to mankind. We invest in laboratories and facilities, empowering our people to solve life challenges. We nurture innovative minds through research and teaching because innovative minds drive competitive and innovative research culture. Life problems are brought into the labs to test our inventions against imperfections. Our facilities enrich our students' life because conducive environment triggers creative minds. We empower students to be active contributors in the ecosystem. UTM embraces inclusivity and diversity. Together, making a difference, our entrepreneurial talents continue to improve the quality of life. We reach out to where it matters, the society. Treating water for consumption. Our research products and services have made a difference to many lives. We provide engineering solutions for sustainable development, and our engineering solutions uplift the quality of life and well-being. Our experts are mobilized to affected sites to respond to calls for help. We are proud to serve and make a difference. UTM strives with total commitment to attain excellence in science, technology and engineering for the well-being and prosperity of mankind. UTM, prospering lives.
UTM, University Technology Malaysia. Innovative, entrepreneurial, global. A global award-winning university in engineering and technology that coexists in the community to contribute to mankind. We invest in laboratories and facilities, empowering our people to solve life challenges. We nurture innovative minds through research and teaching because innovative minds drive competitive and innovative research culture. Life problems are brought into the labs to test our inventions against imperfections. Our facilities enrich our students' life because conducive environment triggers creative minds. We empower students to be active contributors in the ecosystem. UTM embraces inclusivity and diversity. Together, making a difference, our entrepreneurial talents continue to improve the quality of life. We reach out to where it matters, the society. Treating water for consumption. Our research products and services have made a difference to many lives. We provide engineering solutions for sustainable development, and our engineering solutions uplift the quality of life and well-being. Our experts are mobilized to affected sites to respond to calls for help. We are proud to serve and make a difference. UTM strives with total commitment to attain excellence in science, technology and engineering for the well-being and prosperity of mankind. UTM, prospering lives. UTM, University Technology Malaysia. Innovative, entrepreneurial, global. A global award-winning university in engineering and technology that coexists in the community to contribute to mankind. We invest in laboratories and facilities, empowering our people to solve life challenges. We nurture innovative minds through research and teaching because innovative minds drive competitive and innovative research culture. Life problems are brought into the labs to test our inventions against imperfections. Our facilities enrich our students' life because conducive environment triggers creative minds. We empower students to be active contributors in the ecosystem. UTM embraces inclusivity and diversity. Together, making a difference, our entrepreneurial talents continue to improve the quality of life. We reach out to where it matters, the society. Treating water for consumption. Our research products and services have made a difference to many lives. We provide engineering solutions for sustainable development, and our engineering solutions uplift the quality of life and well-being. Our experts are mobilized to affected sites to respond to calls for help. We are proud to serve and make a difference. UTM strives with total commitment to attain excellence in science, technology and engineering for the well-being and prosperity of mankind. UTM, prospering lives.
Hello.
Hello.
Assalamualaikum.
Hi. We wait for another two presenter. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nurhanisah. I am a moderator for this third panel sessions. Everyone is given 10 minutes for their presentation. Then we will have Q&A at the end of the sessions. The theme for this session is religions. We have three paper presenters. Let me introduce the first presenter, Mr. Khairul Zahrin Muhammad Aruf, and the title is COVID-19 and Religious Rethinking, Closure of Religion Center and the Impact to Believers. Without further ado, I would like to give the floor to the first presenter.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi and very good morning if you are in Malaysia, and if you are somewhere else, perhaps it will be early morning today. Good morning. I will share my slide now. Is it sharing now, everyone? Hello?
Yes.
It's sharing. Okay. The one that I sent previously, it was in abstracts. I already amended the titles, and this is the titles for the today paper. Okay. It is a coronavirus disease 2019, COVID-19 outbreak lockdowns, the effect of the spiritual, physical, emotions, intellectual, and the financial states of the Islamic believers. So my name is Khairul Zahrin. Feel free to raise your hands and open for Q&A. Okay, so basically COVID-19 disease 2019, COVID-19 have been declared by the World Health Organization, WHO, as a global health emergency and a global pandemic on the March 11, 2020. In controlling the quick spreadings of the COVID-19, the enforcement of the lockdown has been applied in many countries, including Islamic country. Unfortunately, the lockdowns affect all the industry as well as the whole nation in terms of the spiritual, physical, emotions, as well as the intellectual states of the many nations. Okay, therefore, we come up with the objective of this paper, which is to examine the effect of the lockdown to spiritual, physical, emotion, intellectual, and the financial state of the Islamic believers. Okay, as we can see here, this is the projections of the coronavirus disease 2019 infections for the benchmarking of the uncontrolled and the controlled outbreak scenario. So why the enforcement of the lockdowns is applied in many countries? Because you can see that the peak of the control and the uncontrolled spreadings via the lockdowns, can be flattened using the by the enforcements of the lockdowns. Okay, so throughout the literature review, this is what we found. The spiritual state is the most critical, physical states, emotions, followed by the intellectual state, and also the financial state. You can see that this is the source of the literature review. And these studies started with the problem statements. We come up with the literature review, which is to find the effect of the lockdown, spiritual, physical, emotional, intellectual, and financials in general. We designed a questionnaire based on that. A pilot study was done with the 10% of the expected respondents, data collections, data analysis, data expectation, conclusion, and the end. We use the relative importance index. From this relative importance index, what we can do and what we can describe based on the data that we receive is the effect of the levels effects of the each particular states. Okay, that we have here the spiritual, emotional, intellectual, as well as the financials.
Okay, this is the demographics of the respondents. We have based on the country, educations, age, and also the gender. So we have from 6 countries: Yemen, Turkey, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Oman, as well as Malaysia. The education level from the high school levels with only 5%, diploma 5%, bachelor degree. Most of our respondents is having the bachelor degree, master, and doctorate. Age of from the 20 years old up to 50 years old and above. Okay, so both have a same portions, female and male, 50 and 50% for each. Okay, as we can see here, this is the from the literature review. The most critical is the spiritual states affected by the lockdowns, and this is from the data that we receive. So spiritual state still the most critical, intellectual, followed by emotion, financial state, and also the physical state. But what is in the spiritual? So this is what we found from the study. It is a positive effects of the lockdowns to these rituals of the Islamic believers. We can see here that the lockdowns affecting them to have more awareness to worship during the lockdowns. It's allowed them to worship at home with their family members, allowed them to practice more sunnah during the lockdowns, reciting more Qurans, donates more during the lockdowns. Lockdowns prevent in wrongdoing, as well as involvements of more in charity works and lockdowns. You can see that actually this effect is least by the relative important index from the most critical to the least criticals, and it's also have the rank here, as you can see from the right sides of it. So in terms of that 5 effects of COVID-19 lockdowns, spiritual, intellectual, emotions, financial, and also the physicals, the spiritual is the highest. You can see here the average rank for the spiritual states of the Islamic believers affected by the COVID-19 lockdowns. And this is the intellectual, the highest effect of the COVID-19 lockdown is the attending the online class during the lockdowns, seeking new interests and knowledge during the lockdowns is a positive. But attending online classes during the lockdown, we will see like what's really affecting in terms of the emotions later on. So they're spending more time on the knowledge discussions during the lockdowns, reading more during the lockdowns, last but not least on the attendings of the online during the lockdown. So you can see here all of the relative important index for each of the effect. It is more than 60, means that is a medium effect to the Muslim believers. Okay, so this is the emotions. Okay, sorry, it's overlap, but you can see that the least is around 0.5, which is in the range of medium effect to the Muslim believers to the COVID-19 lockdowns. This is last but not least for the financial states of the Muslim believers. So many of them have the financial effect during the lockdowns. They couldn't find a job during the lockdowns, experience difficulty to buy daily needs. Lucky for Malaysia, we get a lot of help from the government as well as the NGOs in helping the needies, especially during the COVID-19 lockdowns. So loads of financial sources during the lockdowns, last but not least experiencing higher debt during the lockdowns. Perhaps they could not get the job, but some of them they couldn't get the direct help from the governments or NGO because of the situations or the topography of their locations. So they're asking from their neighborhoods. That's caused them experiencing higher debt during the lockdowns. Last but not least, the physical, taking care of many health. Good thing in the lockdowns, people start having more awareness on the health issues. They start cyclings, and all this is proven by the study. Conducting physical exercise during the lockdown is all have a positive impact on the physical states of the Islamic believers. So in conclusions, we managed to collect 208 Islamic believers from 6 different countries, namely Yemen, Turkey, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Oman, and Malaysia. So this paper found that the spiritual and the intellectual states of the Islamic believer are positively affected with the coronavirus disease 2019 lockdowns. On the other hand, the emotions and the financial states of the Islamic believers are negatively affected by the COVID-19 lockdowns, where the findings of the paper is similar to the previous studies on the effect of lockdown to the public. In contrary, this paper found that the Islamic believers are taking care of the dietary and conducting more physical exercises during the COVID-19 lockdowns. this study recommended that future study where the governments should overcome these challenges based on the strategic action plan to encounter the emotion and also financial issues among the Islamic believers. Perhaps the locals governments from the Islamic department to look into this issue. So thank you.
Thanks for your presentation, Mr. Zahrin. Now I would like to call upon the second presenter, Mr. Luqmanul Hakim. The title is COVID-19 and Religious Rethinking, Building the Paradigm of Social and Religious Activities in the Pandemic Era Based on Islamic View. The floor is yours. Do you have Mr. Luqmanul Hakim here? Maybe we need to wait until 11:15 for the second presenter. In the meanwhile, if you have any questions for the first presenter, please you can ask the first presenter for the questions.
Please, I open the floor for any Q&A.
So maybe we still waiting for the second presenter to be here. Admin, do you have our second presenter ready?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Dearest all the participants of this conference, all the presentations, all the presenters. So I'm Professor Dr. Nurhanisah Jaafar, and with me Professor Dr. Sapura Siku, both of us from University of Science Islam Malaysia, and me myself from Faculty of Quran and Sunnah Studies, and Prof. Sapura is from Faculty of Leadership and Management. Inshallah, today I would like to present a topic on Tadabbur al-Quran and its implication for the well-being of mind and emotions in the situation of the movement control command. Okay, as an introduction, the role of qalb involving feelings and emotion will certainly not run away from the functions of the mind, which involve rationality, logic, and thoughts. So indirectly, it can be understood that emotions and thoughts are able to be managed in harmony by making the Quran the greatest miracle of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ as Huda, Shifa for all mankind. Quran is a form of advice from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through His guidance. It is also a cure for all forms of disease, especially mental illness, which stem from qalbun marid. We call it sick heart. If the heart is in a state of pious, prosperous, and mutmain calm, then the mind and the emotion will also be good and calm. So the key to having the condition of qalbun salim is a practice tadabbur the holy verses of the Quran. So mainly every day. So Quran is like to rainwater that can fertilize arid soils and can even affect hot thoughts. This parable is a symbol that a heart hard as a rock can be softened through the Quran, which acts like water. Likewise, confused thoughts and emotions can be calmed with this miracle-filled scripture. Therefore, Tadabbur al-Quran fits as a solution to control emotions and thoughts in the situation of movement control, because Quran is always a guidance for all the problems. So as we can see, and we all of us are experiencing this, that scenario during movement control orders and some impacts of aspect of human life itself is like ourselves, how we manage ourselves, the education system, the economy, the social system, and also the politics. So we can see how the balance challenge between work and life when working from home, for example. Changes in terms of daily routine or habits, many activities or tasks that cannot be done as usual. Adapting to work from home requires high discipline, lack of interaction with the outside world, limited resources to carry out certain tasks. So it might affect on our emotion. How is it? First, anxiety and feeling of being infected with this virus. And second, disappointed and tired of facing situations such as confinement at home, changes in daily routine, and lack of social or physical relationships. So here now I bring the concept of Quran, of the Tadabbur of Quran, which we discuss a little bit on the terminology of Quran, which come from the Tadabbur. The Tadabbur come from word Tadabbara, which means thinking and observing the verse of Quran to understand it, as well as grasping its meaning, laws, and meanings. So this is how Imam Sayyuti in his book Ulum al-Quran, he recognized us how the meaning of tadabbur. And as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also says in the Quran, Surah Al-Qamar, verse 17, and the meaning is, and indeed we have made the Quran easy to remember and a lesson, so is there anyone who wants to take a reminder and a lesson from it? So it is clear cut. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the belongs of disease, tell us that our Quran is a reminder and a lesson for those who want to take it. So there are a few books of kitab that discuss on the concept of Tadabbur Quran. For example, here I list out some of the books or the kitab. For example, Abbas Ashafa, As-Sunaidi, Al-Lahim, and there are a lot of books of kitab that talk about Tadabbur Quran. So now I will share with all of you the process of Tadabbur al-Quran, and that holds the mind and hearts as the main key. So when we call or we discuss on Tadabbur, it consists of several keywords. For the first is al-fahm. Al-fahmu is the understanding about certain knowledge. Al-fiqh, deepening certain knowledge. Al-basira, wisdom and perfection of knowledge. Al-fiqh, the presence of understanding in heart to produce the knowledge. Tafakkur, think to produce the understanding. Tadakkur, a reminder or picture of knowledge that is remembered, present in the heart will produce practice. At-ta'ammul, do research or review repeatedly until it becomes clear and reveal the meaning behind the verse to set the heart. I'tibar, taking a lesson about a verse. Istibsar, an act or subject of research to explain something that reveal and make it clear as an argument or propositions. So this is I cannot call one of option. This is a must process in a tadabbur or in a concept of tadabbur. So when we do practice of tadabbur al-Quran, some solution from tadabbur al-Quran that we manage to get or benefit from it is one of them is unity of heart and mind while reading, and then touching emotions increase our iman, crying out of fear of God, increase the devotion, happiness and spirits, peace of mind, glorify God by prostrating. So this is among the lively experience when we practice tadabbur al-Quran. So this is among the states of heart and the state of feelings, and also our thinking on how we benefit from the practice or the process of tadabbur. Okay, now we come to the conclusions. What I can say is Al-Quran is the greatest miracle left by Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, also as a guidance for the people of Prophet Muhammad or the Ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam until the end of time. And everyone who reads it with full appreciation will not feel bored, even if it is read over and over again, and it will show its wonder from the aspect of giving understanding after understanding, seniority after serenity, teaching after teaching, and inspiration for the inspiration. And the Quran will give answers to those who have question of life. It will show the way of truth to anyone who is in a deadlock. And at the same time, the call that is often repeated by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to tadabbur each of His holy verses is a guidance and antidote to the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by nurturing thoughts and emotions that are prosperous in the condition. And at the same time, it is a major solution to mental and emotion disorder in general and especially when under stress, such as during MCO. So with this, I end my presentation, and I would like to thank to all of the participants on all the audience for listening to my presentation, and hopefully you will benefit from my presentation. Really, Al-Quran is the best solution for our life and the guidance of our life, and it also a cure to our emotional and also our mental disorder. And it is very related to this time, our time, which is under the pressure. And with this, I end my presentation with wabillahi taufiq wa assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thanks to all presenters. Uh, we we just have two presenters for today. So now I would like to open for Q&A session if the audience have any questions. Okay, since I think we don't have any questions for the presenters, so I would like to thanks to all of you, presenters and participants, for joining these sessions. See you in the next session. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.
UTM, University Technology Malaysia. Innovative, entrepreneurial, global. A global award-winning university in engineering and technology that coexists in the community to contribute to mankind. We invest in laboratories and facilities, empowering our people to solve life challenges. We nurture innovative minds through research and teaching because innovative minds drive competitive and innovative research culture. Life problems are brought into the labs to test our inventions against imperfections. Our facilities enrich our students' life because conducive environment triggers creative minds. We empower students to be active contributors in the ecosystem. UTM embraces inclusivity and diversity. Together, making a difference, our entrepreneurial talents continue to improve the quality of life. We reach out to where it matters, the society. Treating water for consumption. Our research products and services have made a difference to many lives. We provide engineering solutions for sustainable development, and our engineering solutions uplift the quality of life and well-being. Our experts are mobilized to affected sites to respond to calls for help. We are proud to serve and make a difference. UTM strives with total commitment to attain excellence in science, technology and engineering for the well-being and prosperity of mankind. UTM, prospering lives.